Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over polynomial long division with and without remainders. We're going to go over some long division review and then we're going to practice with remainders and without remainders. Let's get started. So we're going to go over some long division review first. We're going to be applying a skill that we learned a while ago to polynomial equations. So for example here, we have the equation 23 divided by 7. So in order to set up this problem, I've already shown you here. 23 is the dividend, so it goes inside of the house, is what I like to call it. And 7 is the divisor, so it stays outside of the house. To solve these sort of problems, you would first begin by listing out the multiples of 7. So we have 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, and etc. But we know that 28, 35, and 42 do not work in order to solve this because they're all greater than 23. In this case, 21 would be our best bet because it goes in and it solves it and it simplifies it to the best it can. So if we use 21 and we subtract by 21 and we put 3 at the top here because 7 times 3 is 21, we're left with 2. So 3 for us would be our quotient or our answer. And then we have 2 over here, which is our remainder. And we would write this as 3 remainder 2. Alright, let's take this skill and now apply it to more complex equations. Alright, we have 8x to the third, which is the dividend, minus 10x squared minus x plus 3, divided by x minus 1. Alright, so in polynomial long division, we are going to first take a look at our first two terms, x and 8x to the third. And since there's no multiples, like what we did with 7, there's no multiples of x, if we think about it like that, hypothetically. There's no really multiples of x, so we just have to find a value that will make x equivalent to 8x to the third and cancel that out when we're solving. So for us, that would mean that we would need to multiply by 8x squared to give us 8x to the third. Hopefully this is making a little bit sense. Because over here when we do 8x to the third, that will be 8x squared. My apologies. 8x squared, that will be our first number, our first component of our quotient. So we would take this and we would multiply it by this, like what we did with the 3 and the 7 here, over here. And we would multiply that to get us 8x to the third. And there is one rule in polynomial long division that whatever we subtract by, there will always be a minus sign on the outside of whatever we subtract by of the parentheses. So 8x to the third minus 8x to the third obviously cancels out. But we also have to multiply this 8x squared times negative 1 here to the rest of our equation. So that means that we will have negative 1 times 8x squared, which gives us negative 8x squared. However, this turns into addition as we have an extra minus sign on the outside of the parentheses, which is a rule. So take that and subtract negative 10 plus 8, giving us negative 2x squared. And then bringing down the negative x over here. Now we have to get x and make that equivalent to negative 2x squared. And for that, we would need to multiply by negative 2x. Alright? That will give us negative 2x squared. And remember, we always have to have an extra negative sign on the outside. And multiply that again by -1, leaving us with 2x. All right? So this cancels out, and we have minus x minus 2x, leaving us with -3x, bringing down the plus 3. So let's move over here a little bit. We have -3x plus 3. And now we have to get x equivalent to -3x. We have to multiply now by -3. So we can do -3 over here. And then -3 times that will give us -3x. But there's obviously another negative on the outside. And -3 times -1 gives us +3. This cancels out, and this also cancels out, leaving us with 0, meaning that we canceled everything out, and we now have an answer. We now have our quotient. So to write this answer, we would write it as 8x squared minus 2x minus 3. Hopefully this is making a little bit more sense. Let's move on to the next equation. We have 3x to the third. Let's do it in green. We have 3x plus 1 on the outside. And we have 3x to the third minus 5x squared plus 10x minus 3. All right. So now we have to just apply the same concepts. We have to take our first term and make it equal to our first term again. 3x needs to be equivalent to 3x to the third, and we can multiply by x squared to do that. Now we did that, we can't leave the 1 by itself, so we also have to multiply by x squared to 1. So that gives us 3x to the third for our first term, plus x squared. Remember, there's always a negative sign on the outside of our parentheses because it's just a rule that is applied. And then now we can cancel this out. And -5 minus -1 leaves us with -6x squared. Then bring down our plus 10x. Now, in order to get -6x squared equivalent to 3x, you need to multiply by -2x. -2x times 3x gives us -6x squared. Remember, there's another minus sign on the outside. And now we have to do the same thing to the 1, so that's -2x over here. This canceled out, but this leaves us with 12x. Bring down the -3. 12x minus 3. We can multiply by 4 plus 4 because 3x times 4 is 12x. So we have 12x here, the minus sign. 4 times 1 is 4, so we do plus 4 here. And this cancels out, obviously. But -3 minus 4 leaves us with -7. So we do have a remainder in this problem. So to write out our final answer, we would write it out as, let's do it in blue, x squared minus 2x plus 4 plus -7 divided by 3x plus 1. Alright, this is a tough concept, so if you guys do have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to ask us. There will be extra practice on our website, so don't forget to visit that for exclusive materials, and also don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you like this video. Have a good day.